Yeah, it's a obviously very important role it has to play. If you talk about the non-SUV market, in the non-SUV segment, Maruti's market share is about 65%. But when you combine it with SUV, where our market share last year was about 12.5%, then it falls down to under 42% or around that figure. Obviously, when we have set ourselves a target of achieving 50% market share, we need to increase the market share in SUVs. And when we talk of SUVs, then it is the entry SUV, the compact SUV, which is the largest segment within the SUV sector. So SUV, by the way, of the overall market is now about 45% of the market, and 23% is the entry SUV. And in the entry SUV, the compact SUV, we find as it has become larger, last year it was almost 8,60,000 or so volumes. We have seen a development of new sub-segments. So while we have the Brezza, but we also have the Fronx now, which is for the urban, sophisticated, technology-savvy consumers. But there is also a niche segment which has developed, which is the segment of lifestyle SUV, and that is what the Jimny caters to. You could say and argue that it's the volumes may not be very large, expected volumes. There's only one vehicle in that segment so far, but the image rub-off which this segment gives, because it has got those pure SUV code, and the legacy of Jimny is very well known, and that is why I believe it's one of the most important models in our SUV portfolio, which now includes not only the Brezza, but also the Grand Vitara, the Fronx, and now the Jimny.
So, talking about the units again, you said it's not going to be high in numbers, but still if you can give us a ballpark figure, what kind of estimates you have as far as production is concerned, what kind of bookings you have received so far for this?
Yeah, so as it happens in all new products that we launch, we don't have a particular volume in mind, but we see essentially how the booking response is and then fine-tune our production accordingly. The bookings which we have received so far has been, I think, really good. We have so far booking of almost 30,000 units for the Jimny. Yeah, I think that's a great beginning. And once we announce the price and start selling the vehicle, which will happen sometime in the first week of June, I think we'll get a real picture of what the volumes would be, and accordingly we will tweak our production going forward.
And talking about SUV plays, is that a reason, the premiumness the reason, the margins would be better? What kind of overall SUV play you want to you want to come and do in India? Because there are competitors like Mahindra and Mahindra, Tata is there. Almost every car maker has an SUV. You started a bit late, but you have a wide area of products. But how do you see this overall SUV portfolio when it comes to premiumness and margins?
Yeah, so certainly it's a very competitive market, as you said. Out of the about 95 brands which are there in the auto industry, passenger vehicle industry, 46 are in the SUV space. And as you would have seen, most of the recent launches from both our competitors, including also from Maruti Suzuki, has been in the SUV space. That's because the volumes are great. Last year, this segment was almost 16.5 lakh units. So it obviously attracts a lot of manufacturers who come into this segment. And yes, that is one of the reasons why we would like to dominate this segment also. And we have said before that we would like to be number one in this space also. Like we are number one in the hatch space. We have a market share of more than 70%. We have 50% plus market share in the MPV. We have 95% in the van space. This is the SUV space where we are lagging behind, and therefore I think we are looking forward to dominating and becoming number one in this segment also.
But at one side, you are seeing waiting list on many cars, and other side you are launching new products. Don't you want to put that production capacity into meeting the aspirations of customers, or do you feel bad about customers going to competition? Maybe some are staying with you, and what are you doing to bring down the waiting list of the cars?
Yeah, so it is logically what you're saying is right, but it's not as simple. So you have lines which are dedicated to particular models and brands, like Ertiga, for example, where we are having a long waiting list, or Brezza, for example. And that's largely because of the shortfall in production because of the semiconductor component availability. Now, even if you were not to introduce new products, let's say like the Jimny, it's not going to enhance the volumes of those other models which are in waiting. So our product plan, therefore, which is planned much in advance, will continue as it is. This Jimny, for example, is made in Gurgaon, whereas let's say the Franks is it's made in Gujarat. So there is no one-on-one sort of adjustment that we can make, and that is why we believe in the long run it is better to have a definitive product plan which should address the segments which have grown and which are growing, and that's what we are trying to do with the Jimny and the Franks as well.
And due to semiconductor shortage, are you prioritizing certain models over others to somehow meet that shortage also?
So it's it does call for a lot of adjustment in production volumes, especially when we are in short supply for such products like the Ertiga, the XL6, the Brezza, the Vitara, which are in much greater demand. That's why today our pending bookings are close to 400,000. But at the same time, we also have to see and increase the volume in other segments. And that's what we are trying to do with some of our other models like the Wagon-R, the Alto, the Celerio, and so on and so forth. So it's actually sort of balancing that you need to do with the overall volume objective, but also looking at the fact that you need to bring down the waiting periods for some of the models which are in short supply. At the moment, we are finding that a little difficult because the semiconductor availability is still not so great. In fact, last year we lost 170,000 units of production because of the semiconductor. It's been the similar situation in April and May of this year. Hopefully from quarter 2 we'll see much better availability of the semiconductor component.